Validating your business idea for success. So, we are on day 2 of our Passion to Profit Roadmap series. Yesterday, we had kicked it off with how to decide which business idea you want to pursue or how to decide the right business idea. Today, on day 2, we would be discussing how you can validate your business idea for success. And more often than not, many people do not really take this step and go ahead with their business. Many people do not uh, go ahead and validate their business idea, and they just focus on that, I have come up with a great idea. I just want to start making a product or start launching my service, and I'll just go and do that. And it gives us a statistics like more than 70% of businesses fail in the first 1 year, and more than 95% of businesses fail because in their first 5 years. And one of the major reason why they do not succeed is they have not even validated that idea. So we don't want you to come into that matrix. We want you to be in the 5%, and we want that 5% to be a wider category. We want actually that 95% of the businesses that start should actually succeed, and I mean more than 95%. And we will give you those steps. And even if you fail, you never actually fail. You always get some experience which you take on with you to the next project. So with this, what we are covering today, we will let you know that why you need to validate this business idea that you want to pursue before you even begin thinking about it or doing anything with the business idea that you have come up with the exercises that we have put out yesterday. And with this, if you have actually worked on the exercises that we have given you yesterday, and if you have come up with some solution or some ideas that you have in mind that you want to start pursuing, let us know in the comments below how many business ideas have you got which you want to start validating, or what is your business idea. And we would really love to know if you have any struggles in getting into business idea. If you want any questions answered, you can drop all your questions here and we can take it up at the end of the presentation. So with going ahead and validating, why you need to validate it, it's really important, and we will tell you why you should not miss this step of day 2. Then we will give you the roadmap and the 6-step process that I personally follow when I want to validate any idea that I have and make it a business that I really want to pursue. And lastly, we will give you the strategies to validate the idea correctly so that it works. I know in theory things look really easy, and it's a second thing to do those exercises. So whatever exercises that we are asking you to do, I have personally done those exercises. I know it is difficult to take pen and paper and just start thinking and dreaming and come up with the ideas, come up with some scenario that your ideal clients might be worrying. So we will take it one step ahead, and now we will actually execute so that you can get more confidence with that, yeah, this is the business idea that you want to pursue. So ideas are meant to be attacked, torn apart, and put back together again. You may well want to shield the idea from harsh sunlight at first, but by the time it's ready to meet the world, it should be ready for rain or shine, is what I believe. I mean, you have to take your idea and do everything with it, so that when you are actually presenting the idea, your idea is so strong that you get confidence that I am putting this product out in the market, and I know that there are people who will get benefit out of it. And so unless you have done that, your homework is not really finished. So don't be be in the process that I need to shield my idea. I should not really share my idea with anybody. What if somebody steals it? What if somebody has already tried it? What if somebody tries it before I actually did it. So when we have these kind of questions, we always come with a scarcity mindset instead of having an abundance mindset, and we always think that some so and so person has already started working on it. Why should I actually bother? The market is already saturated. There is no need in the market for this product. But it is not uh, the the product that, I mean, it is not about who comes first into the market. It is about who is serving better in the market. To give you example, Flipkart actually came first into the market, but and Amazon was a late entrant. If you also, to give you an example, when Google launched its services, there were already 17 search engine in the world running successfully. And now, what do you open to do any search? Google, right? They have waited for the time that the other companies or the entrants have faced the kind of struggles with the product that they have faced, or how to overcome it. So at the end, whoever is doing better wins the race. So why you shouldn't miss this one very important step before you actually taking the plunge? Because we want you to save time, money, and resources. Yes, many people, they just jump right back into executing the idea the moment they have that I have just got a $1 million idea and I just want to put this process out there, before they realize that they have put in like 5 years of their life, and there are not enough customers. Before they realize that I have spent like lakhs of rupees in creating my product and launching my product, and there are nobody in the market. There are even big companies who have done that they have taken a risk with the product and they have just launched it, and there are nobody in the market. Versus, if you take example of Apple always comes up with a product. I mean, even you can take example of Elon Musk. He launched about Tesla, or he actually pre-launched Tesla, and he already sold it before he even started making it, before he even started working on the idea. So you always want to validate your idea first and make sure your business is sustaining itself. You can even get money to create the idea if you actually start it front. And you might actually come up that, Sonia, I don't even have any people who are listening to me, that I'm coming up with the idea. How do I even like go ahead and start talking about the product? Apple is a big company. There are million people who are looking at what they're doing. Or Elon Musk is a very big guy who's actually looking, who has been looked up by a lot of industry, who and he can easily pre-sell it. I cannot pre-sell it, but my friend, I mean, we need to step back. We need to actually come with an abundance mindset again, and think that if we can validate the product and at least make 50,000 rupees with the product that you want to make, before you even take the plunge. Because that's when you know that what struggle you might face when it actually becomes a business. What are the real problems you actually have that put hand in hand with your problem and with the business that you would be running, before you even launch. And take this step as, uh, before you start taking the plunge in your marriage, you always date a guy, or you always at least see the guy. Even if you're going in an arranged marriage setup, you meet the guy, you see if it works or if it doesn't work, before you decide to take the plunge. You don't just right away marry the person that you meet for the first time, unless you feel so strongly about it that that he is the person, or something. You always want to at least see if there are other options available, if I'm happy somewhere else, or if marriage is even the thing for me. Right? So there are you will get all of these answers once you do a little bit of research or validation on your idea. So we don't want you to spend any time unless this is that this is the thing that you want to pursue. You don't want to spend lakhs of rupees in creating and launching a product and actually seeing just crickets in the market. and you don't really want to waste resources while building the business, and while disturbing everybody in your life, and disturbing a lot of things, and wasting a lot of resources, and only to come to a realization that this is not the business that you wanted to start. And my friend, I mean, if you are in such a place, don't really think that if you have a failed product, you will not have a better product. Every entrepreneur fails 1,000 times before they have like the first success. We just don't say that what you see success is just the tip of the iceberg, the actual work is in the background. So you don't really take the mistakes that you do. I'm not really telling you to avoid making mistakes or to have a fear of failure. We can always learn from our mistakes, but whatever, like, we can manage our risks. As a numbers person, or as an auditor, I can only tell you that we can always manage the risk of the things that we can control, so that we know that there are, at least we are taking calculated risk. I'm not really asking you to jump off the cliff without even seeing the depth. Now we know that it is really important to not make this mistake, and the repercussions of making these mistakes could actually take you back 5 years, take you back a lot of money from your pocket. So it's important to do the step of validation. If by any chance you are like, I can skip this step and I can go to the next step much faster in my journey, I do not recommend you to do that. And before we begin, I want you to recap what we have learned yesterday. So I have asked you to come up with a market interest score, and give it a score by asking you certain questions. So those questions, yesterday we actually did our own introspection, and we went into the mind of our ideal client, and we wrote about what we think that their struggles are, what we think that their outcome is, what we think that their dream life could be. So I just want you to do those recap on the questions that we asked yesterday ourselves about the ideal clients that we want to serve with. Because in today's step of validation, we would actually be going out and meeting people and talking about our ideas and making it like a real thing, and discussing with people what are their struggles. And so we actually kind of decide that who might be our ideal clients. I'll give you the steps very soon, but let's at least look at this questions that we will need to answer when we actually go out and talk to people, and what we need to ask them, and what we need to keep a tab on. So this is like really important. The same questions we did an introspection at the idea level, at the validation level, we will be asking the same questions to our actual ideal clients. So the questions are: who are the people your product or service is for? You need to identify those people in the actual validation stage. What are their day-to-day life look like? What problems do they need solved? What is their biggest struggle that they need solved? So that you can actually align the solution with the problem that they are facing. In your mind, the problem might be something else, but when you actually talk to the person and go to a deeper level, you might find that the problem is not this, the problem is actually something else. So when I actually go and talk to people that your business is not growing, so the problem is not that they are not getting more clients, the problem is that they are not understanding the numbers in their business, because they are not really looking at the numbers in their business to know that which product I need to focus more on, which is my profitable product, which is my so yeah, there are actually, you will actually go a little more deeper to find the real right problem that they need to answer with, rather than the symptoms that they are having, which they think that they need solution with. What keeps them up all night? What are they struggling most right now? What are their dream outcome or solution? You need to ask them that, if I can just put a magic wand around and make your problem go away, how your life look like? How would you feel with by achieving the outcome that you always wanted to have? How would you what would you do when you have those results in your life? How would that make your life really in a real life situation, so that you can actually get the satisfaction of giving somebody a transformation, or giving somebody to actually take somebody from place A to place B? What do they care about, or what do they believe in? What do their actual life or the real life looks like once they achieve the solution that they always wanted to achieve? Like for this series, we actually want to see taking the steps that we are showing you, doing the steps that we are showing you, and actually come up with with an idea. And if one person also could do it, could learn from it, and could actually make it a business, we will consider that our job is done. And I'm sure that the process that we have come up with has the capability to definitely cater more than one. So if you are somebody who is taking your life and your business really seriously, do the steps, and you will definitely get the results that you always wanted. So with this, let me start with the 6-step process to validate the business idea for success. So the first thing that you need to focus on is which idea, where we left off yesterday. So yesterday we had given you the entire roadmap that if you have multiple ideas, and how to focus on which one. So you come up with your passion score, you give yourself, align it with the purpose in life, and then go to the market, give it a market interest score, give it a value score, so that you know that the value that you are providing can actually align with the kind of money that you want to make in your life. When all of these things are actually covered, then you come up with what idea. So out of the 10 ideas that we had discussed yesterday, we want you to we want you to come up with at least 1 or 2 or 3 ideas that you really want to test it in your real life. And out of the 3 ideas, you have to focus on one single idea at a time. You may still have multiple ideas that you always wanted to go back, and life may give you a different chance where you can incorporate your other passion into the thing that you are doing currently. But you need to find that one thing that you want to focus on, and focus on that one thing when you are validating the idea, because testing too many ideas can also stretch you very thin, can also you can get exhausted, and you will not even know which idea to concentrate on. So start with one is what I personally believe, and focus on a single thing. Give it a time, test it out for about a month, take at least some orders, give yourself some money target that I want to earn at least 5,000, 50,000 rupees out of this idea, and then I will see how my life really looks like with this idea. If I don't like it, I will not do it. I can go back to something else. As I said yesterday, there's always more where the ideas come from, where the money comes from. So come from an abundance mindset, and but work on one thing. Clarify your why. It's one thing to focus on what product or service you sell. It's another thing to focus on what problem your product or service is solving. So we don't want you to just focus on that, I'm providing cakes. Why you are providing the kind of cake that you're providing, what problem are you solving? So if you followed me from yesterday, I discussed with you about a lactose intolerant kid, and I actually did something for that kid, and I actually saw how many kids would be who are looking for such kind of solution that they cannot buy any cake off of the bakery that they have close to their house. How many kids would actually need those kind of cakes, and I didn't find a very big market for that particular product in India. Internationally, many kids are lactose intolerant. It's a lot bigger problem internationally, but in India, we are having great immunity. So we don't have a lot of kids who don't want to eat nuts, who don't want to eat milk, and so I thought, I mean, that's not a very big market for me to just cater on that particular kind of cake or something. So go a little deeper to clarify why and what problem your product is solving. Who is it for? So here you need to identify who your ideal client is. You have to actually go and talk to your ideal clients in person, have a conversation with them on phone, and have a call with them. You need to see their expressions on how they are talking about the problem that they have. Is that problem so deep in their mind that they want the immediate solution? Do they really need, how urgency do they have to come up with a solution for the problem that you are discussing? And we'll give you more strategies on how you can actually do that in the last later part of our live. But you actually need to go out, talk to people, spread your idea, and at least take it as a challenge that talk to at least 5 people on a 15-minute call and discuss with them that about the idea that you want to pursue, and validate what do they think, how are they struggling with. Then create a beta version of your product. Create a simple version of your actual product with the same outcome. Give a little sneak peek of your product to your ideal client. So we know already who our ideal client is. We know what problem are they solving. Now we have a real product that we can talk about. If you want, you can even give your product a name so that it becomes more relatable. It may not be the name of the business that you finally come up with. It may not even be the name of service that you want to launch it with. It just becomes more relatable and more, it actually kind of takes a shape when you start talking about it with a name. So give a sneak peek of your product or idea to the people who are your ideal clients. Then you need to do a beta launch. So we say that as an entrepreneur or as a creative person, we get so bogged down with the perfection that we want to bring in our business that we always kind of makes it we kind of tend to procrastinate it. So what I want to encourage you to do is to go for progress over perfection. I mean, when I actually thought of launching about all of this, I didn't have the idea of what I wanted to do. It was just so instant that I just thought I should do a 5-day thing so that I can cover at least a chunk of topic and can give you a solid roadmap that you all can start working about it. Because this is like, I really am passionate about financial wellness for women, and this is the area that I'm working on, and I want to give you something that you can actually take away and you can make money out of it, and you can actually be about it, make it your own business. They say that if you are giving somebody a fish, they can eat for one day, but if you are showing somebody how to fish, they can feed themselves for life. So this is my way of telling you how to fish so that you can always feed yourself and you can live the life that doing the thing that you really enjoy doing. Beta launch. So you have to actually go out and pre-launch the product. Forget about perfection, forget about making it like the perfect product that you wanted to launch, forget about that it's not in the right shape. Even, I mean, when we see all the phones, look at how we all used to use the phones in the first time, right? That ekdam chotu sa phone which just had like the snake, and we all used to get so crazy about playing snake on that small screen, and then it kind of evolved into different products. So even big companies, if they can do it, they can make us go through the journey of evolution of a product. Why can't we as small companies also launch it as a small product? And people whom we really care about, if they see that what if it's not the right way of, what if it's not perfect, at least it gives me the result that I wanted. and that is how they would also want to be associated with, and they want to love working with you. So go ahead and launch it. Start talking about it, take pre-orders of your product, generate a minimum sales, keep a minimum target. I can give you a target of 50,000 rupees. It's a very small target. It may look really big, but it's a very small target to actually make it feel like, I'm running a legit business. If I can make 50,000 rupees, I can actually make real business money with my business. How it would be, you will actually get to know how it would be to run your own business. And with this, before I explain you the next idea of tweaking your project, let me share with you my baking story, so which actually covers all of these 6 points. When I started, so yesterday I told you about that I started baking, and I started blogging about it. So I was, and simultaneously I was also running my own CA practice, and growing that bit as well, because I left my job, got married immediately in the next 1 month, 2 month, and I was growing my own personal practice. And within next first 6 months of my marriage only, I actually got onto baking. I started taking some classes. I took some classes on learning how to do the icing, how to do the fondant cakes, and all of those. And I was actually doing running a blog about baking as well. So after 1 year of, like, constantly running a blog, I people started approaching me that, can you make cake for my kid, can you do this. So I was actually thinking about, should I leave my CA work and get into baking full time? It's so happening, it looks so fancy, the house smells so nice when I bake, and I was getting all the positive vibes with it. And I would talk to people as well about it. So I was actually in a client meeting for my CA related work at a place called The Hive in Bandra. If you all know, it was just getting constructed. He was actually in the process of breaking it down and making it like a co-working space, and it was way before WeWork even came in, or the co-working space model even got hit. He wanted to build like a hip place where people could come, comedians could come and have like a lounge access, and he would have a pantry, and he had already bought a coffee machine, and he was actually looking out for a lady who can serve with fresh baked goods, like cake or cookies to go with the coffee in his co-working space called The Hive. It's a famous place in Bandra now. So and I was like, you know what, I am a part-time baker. I can definitely give you the first order if you want me to. And he's like, give me take my order today itself. I mean, if you can give me 1 kg of cake, 1 kg of cookies, 1 kg of biscotti, that will really solve me. I already have got a coffee machine. Give me this, I can get running from tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, cool, I'll start making it. So I used to have all these supplies. I went home from 9 o'clock at night. I was baking till 2 in the morning, and I was done with just 1 kg cake, 1 kg biscotti, 1 kg cookies, because I had a small oven, like a home oven, and it would only make up to 6 cookies in one batch. And I would actually, to make like 1 kg of cookies, it was about 48-50 cookies I had to make. So I have to put it in the oven, take it out after 15 minutes or so, and have to run multiple batches, because I was actually running a small oven. I baked it till 2 and gave it. And when I actually calculated that how much I need to charge him, how much invoice do I have to raise him, it only came to about 1,000, 1,500 or 2,500, in that range. And I'm like, it took me about 6 hours to generate an invoice of about 2,500, which is like, I would charge for a certificate to sign in my office. So as a professional, I always value my time, because how much money I can generate with my time is what I have. And as a beginner, even 2,500 for your first batch is not a small order. But for me personally, because that's what I say, that your business you are the unique thing in your business. So you have to see whether it aligns with your purpose, whether it aligns with your with your vision in life, with your passion. So even though I was so passionate about making cakes, when I aligned it with the time and with the kind of billing I was generating, and with also another thing that happened was I was already into 1 year of baking, and in that 1 year I actually put on like 10 kgs of weight after my marriage. And it's like, why? I was baking so much of cakes and so much of dessert, and eating it myself, feeding many people around in the family and in my office, and I was not feeling good about it. I didn't want to give somebody, like I always associated cakes with happiness, that you're giving happiness to somebody. But I don't want my life to be spent where I'm giving happiness and that would last only 1 hour or 2 hours by the time you just finish your cake and then be done with it. I want to give lasting happiness to people. And that's when I actually connected with my financial side of my business, where I'm actually helping you not only live an independent life, you can plan your things, that you that makes you feel really happy, that you, you know so I actually connected with my purpose only by doing and validating this step. And today I'm not sorry about that. Back then I didn't try that idea. I knew that I tried the idea, it didn't work for me. It might work for many other people. I had another client who also left her corporate job, and she's running a successful bakery right now, and I'm so happy for her. And she's not even running a bakery, she's even teaching her baking skills. And uh, but I am really happy with where I am, because I have made a conscious decision of not going ahead with the idea, because I have talked about the idea, I have talked about I have met the ideal people whom I wanted to serve, I have given the idea, I've created the beta product, I have lived the life of an entrepreneur, how she would live if she's running a bakery of her own. And it wasn't for me. I decided it wasn't for me. It's a very good business idea, but wasn't for me. And that's when tweaking to projects comes really also important, that you need to listen very carefully to people that you talk to your first buyer's struggles, and make those adjustments in the plans that you already have, that you have first thought of creating. Because like you can make so many adjustments with it, you can better your product just by taking those first feedback, and make it better. You can even would even, like me, you would even get the insight that, yeah, this idea is not for me, I can now try something else with more confidence, that it didn't work for me. It may come back. I mean, you make today I'm using my baking experience just to explain you financial side of things. So it will come back to your life if it has to. But if you don't feel aligned to make money with that product, it's okay. You get those answers also, instead of getting regrets of not continuing with the product or service that you want to. With this, if you have this question in your mind, but Sonia, I don't want to put my idea out there, somebody might steal it. Well, my friend, never worry about putting your ideas out there. Nothing is new under the sun. Your idea might have already been tested. It's not about the idea, it's the execution of that idea. How you are executing the idea is what matters to people. So with this, now let me go ahead and give you the strategies that work while validating your business idea. So you don't want to go out and have nuts about it. Use the strategies to do the 6 steps that we have discussed in the previous section to go about validating your idea. So when you talk to people about your idea, make sure that you record your strategy calls with your ideal clients. Whenever you are having the calls, if you can have a call on Skype or on Zoom, always record it. You can even use Google Meet with your Gmail account, it would be free. Always record it so that you can always go back and see you know, what emotions did they use while they were talking about it, how deeply they went with their problem. While you can get a lot when you are actually looking at a person while discussing about a problem. Not just the words also will tell you a lot of information, but the combination of words with the expression is will give you the urgency, how urgent it is for them, how deep are they in with the problem that you are solving. You will get a lot of information. So always record, because you would want to go back and refer your notes. You want to go back and re-listen to it, take the words out for your sales pages and other things as well. Ask permission first before you record the call. So whenever you are asking, whenever you are going into a call with the people, always take their permission. That is it okay if I record this call? It will help me, it will help me with my idea really well. Listen more than you talk. We tend to become that, as ladies and as people who are really passionate about ideas, we just want to talk about our ideas, that I think I think this would really work. I think this is. You don't want to talk on your strategy calls. You can talk when you are providing any solution, but on your strategy calls you only want to listen to what they are struggling with. You have already done your mental work in the first step, day 1, where we've discussed about the business idea. You have already done all of that. You don't have to show your work to your ideal clients or to the people whom you are talking to. Let them talk about the problem and let them ask about the solution. If your ideal clients are not paying you, you can always ask for testimonial. So it goes back to when you are launching your product. If you decide on working with them, and if you decide on they cannot pay you because you don't have the experience, you're like, they are favoring you just by testing you out as the first product. So you can always ask them in front that I'm not really charging you for this one, but it would really make me make a difference to my business if you could give me a video testimonial, if you could give me a testimonial with your name on it and with your photo on it, so that I can actually use those testimonials and put it out in the world and make a business, get real clients from these experiences. And after you do this, send them a thank you note after you finish with your calls. They have given you a great insight that in that 15 minutes of call, that your business can actually go ahead and much higher. It will give you the confidence. Always thank them if they have decided on supporting you at the first place. And pay very close attention to the words like, I'm so embarrassed to say, but this happened. But I'm so embarrassed to say that people are not even doing this when I go. Or I hate to admit, but so you have to give very importance that I feel so silly telling you about this, but I don't even know how to read numbers in my financial statements. So people people feel certain things which they don't which they are not comfortable telling you. But if you can actually go into that space where you are just listening about the problems, they will tell you what they feel like. And if you are not getting these things out, you need to then probe little more into your talk and ask them to the next level question, that if this is happening, you have to take them from symptom level to the actual problem level. So you have to take the peels of the onion out and ask them about that. Okay, if you were having this symptom, why it could happen that? Then go to the next deeper level, then go to the next deeper level, until they are coming up with these kind of words. And they might come up, what the truth is, that I don't even bother, that I don't really like to grow my business to these multi-crore business, or I don't really, the truth is, they will give you their problem. What constitutes validation? So remember who your ideal client is. The best form of validation is the one that generates income, right? We have named this passion to profit. Profit comes after revenue. So first you need to generate revenue in your business, and then you can concentrate on profit. So first part of generating your idea validation is that to make sure that it is at least generating revenue at the first place. A great idea can self fund its execution. If you pre launch your idea and many people are actually looking to buy it, you can give them at a very low cost to actually become a pre adopter, and they can fund the initial execution of your idea actually. If your business isn't generating enough income, it's a hobby. It's the bottom line truth. If you are doing something that you are passionate about, but if your business is not generating income, it's not your business, it's a hobby. Many people, they don't understand the difference between what's a hobby, what's a business, what's a work, or what's a profession that they are doing, and that's why they have a lot of money related problems in their lives. So you need to make sure the main reason of a business is to generate income, is to generate revenue, and the main purpose of a CEO is actually to generate profit from that business. So you need to make sure that you are running a business that generates income, otherwise it's just a hobby, and it's better that you do it also as a hobby. Tip: create a special document where you keep this golden copy so that you have it ready when you are writing copy or brainstorming ideas for your actual launch. It's actually talking about the when you are having calls with the ideal clients, you need to actually write down, take notes as much as you can of the language that the people that you are talking to are talking, because that's the same language. If when you put it in your sales page and when you put it in your emails, when you talk about your idea when you are launching it, they can get associated with, and then selling will become really easy for you. Next step: now with these steps, I would challenge you to at least speak with 5 people. Find out 5 people who are struggling with the problem, come up with what they are struggling with, how you can provide solution before you go to the next step. And tomorrow we will discuss how you can structure your business the right way.